grandfather's Waylon Jennings, country music, you know, royalty, I guess is what they would call him. He was like the original outlaw. By the time in 85, 86, he had like a double bypass, heart attack. He had been running hard, you know, half ounce of cocaine a day, you know, bottle of whiskey, 5 packs of cigarettes, touring, because he was like the original outlaw, you know, for country music. He was the guy, and he really was about that, lived that life. As I was growing up, he was just coming out of that. You know, he had almost died from his drug use, and the road had beat the shit out of him. And so I got some of those good years where it was really like, he was still touring, and I'd get to go out on tour with him sometimes on the weekends. Ever since I was, you know, 8, he called me his only black grandson, because I listened to rap. You know, we lived in a different side of town because my mom was really independent, and she was just in love with, you know, bad boys, and she didn't want handouts. So I would get to go over there and hang out with my Uncle Shooter, who's a year older than me, and spend a lot of time. And Waylon always just, like, he really, I think he saw that outlaw side in me. So, like, you know, he was the one that picked me up from juvenile every time I went. He was the one that when I get suspended from school, they'd send Waylon. You know, he'd pull up and just be like, boy, what are you thinking, you know? But I think one of the biggest things that he taught me was that you don't have to be anything but yourself. You don't have to please anybody but yourself. Because when you're happy, the people around you that you love are gonna be happy. And that's why I wear turquoise now. Because, you know, when I was growing up, turquoise, I was always intrigued by turquoise and the meanings behind it, you know, and I just always thought it was pretty, but I was so wrapped up in this facade that I had to wear diamonds to be cool, that I had to have all this ice on, you know, I spent all this money on, you know, gold teeth and necklaces, and I had to have all this to be me. And inside, the reality was turquoise was my favorite stone. So really coming home and embracing, like, man, I'm who I am, you know. I got homies now that are like, you don't wear cowboy on us, you got on cowboy boots. I said, don't get it twisted, that's drug lord. You know what I mean? That ain't cowboy, I ain't never rode a horse. But the biggest thing that Waylon taught me was just be you. Make music that you love. You know, do it for the music, do it for the people listening. Because as soon as you start just doing it for the money, it becomes fake. The other day, I was doing an interview, and this guy literally sat there and asked me questions for about 15 minutes as if my grandfather was still alive. And I'm over there looking at Jelly like, and I'm answering the questions like in past tense, hoping that he gets the clue that Waylon's been dead 15 years. And he just didn't get it. He didn't understand even it. I mean, at the end, he was just like, all right, well, that's awesome that his granddaddy loves his music and he supports it. It's like, well, yeah, he did. You know, thing a lot of people don't know about Waylon is Waylon, you know, I get those certain country haters. They're like, Waylon would be rolling over in his grave. Well, you just know his music. I knew the man. His best friend was Muhammad Ali. Waylon didn't have I didn't even see racism till I was older. You know, I ran around in the hood with all races, and I never saw racism until I was old enough to really understand what it was, you know. Even then, I was on the opposite side of it. You know, I was the one they called the wigger, you know, or they, you know, would throw slick disses, and Waylon used to, you know, he used to have me rap for him. You know, and at the time, I didn't really have nothing written. I was like 11, I'd just rap a Rapping Forte verse or something. You know what I mean? or 8 Ball and MJG verse like it was mine. But he used to love that.